I like to start out from the Bible. In Job chapter 14, in verse 7, he speaks that, "For there is hope for a tree, that when it's cut down, that it will sprout again, and its shoots will not fail. Though its roots grow old in the ground, and its stump dies in the dry soil, at the scent of water it will flourish and put forth sprigs like a plant." And again with 14 through 17 it says, "If a man dies, he will live again. All the days of my struggle I will wait until my change come. Thou wilt call, and I will answer thee. Thou wilt long for the works of thy hands. For now thou dost number my steps. Thou dost not observe my sin. My transgressions are sealed up in a bag, and thou dost wrap up my iniquity." In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11, it says, "For no man can lay foundation other than the one which is laid in Jesus Christ, which is Jesus Christ. Now if any man builds upon a foundation with silver and gold, precious stones and wood and hay, each man's work will become evident, for the day will show it, because it will be revealed with fire, and the fire itself will test the quality of each man's work. If any man's work which he has built upon it remains, he shall receive reward. If any man's work is burned up, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as through fire." You know, I didn't, like I said, I didn't always look this way. And as we look at the trees around here, it's not as big as the trees in Oregon. You really got some beautiful trees down there. But and as I became an adult, I aspired to be a kind of a tall tree among our people, the Koikon, and among our native people in the Athabascan tribe, the Koikon, which is one of them. And I became a tall tree. And right at the pinnacle of my tree was Roger Huntington, a good-looking man, a self-motivated driving man to get things done. A man who became influential, had many gubernatorial appointments. I was a bank director. I had money in the bank. I was chairman of the board of a $200 million corporation. I had a business, you know, and all those branches, you know, but Roger was at the top. A good-looking man, you know, a pride. I had my chest out. I had prestige. I had ego. And I had, believe it or not, 3 airplanes at one time. You know, I had all the toys of life. Carol and I were really doing well. We traveled around the world practically. Not all around the world, but several places. We could have traveled around the world if we wanted to. But you know, the one thing Carol and I realized, even in the abundance of the earthly things we had, we didn't have any joy. We had joy momentarily when we traveled to Japan or somewhere, had fun for a little while, you know. Got another airplane, I had joy for a little while. You know, she liked to travel to Hawaii. She'd go to Hawaii, and she had joy for a little while. But we come back again, and the stuff of life seemed to own us. We didn't have that joy. You know, and we both realized that. And I was really a prejudiced man. I was a real bigot. I didn't like white folks, and I didn't like Eskimos. I don't know why I married one. Lord prevented her, I guess. But what a wonderful lady. And the other thing I was hung up on, I was raised Catholic. I was raised in an orphanage, and until I was 10 years old. So I had this kind of strange loyalty to the Catholic name. And those two things got in the way of the many times that I heard the gospel. In fact, one time in 1971, we were working toward the land claim settlement for Alaska Natives, and Billy Graham was speaking on his television. And I was staying at a senator's home, senator of the state of Alaska, and I was watching his television. I just about went to the television, I knew I was a sinner. And I just knew. And I wasn't a very good person then. And my friend came in and said, "What that crap you watching?" And so that kind of killed that. But anyway, I as we went along there, I talked with my uncle. He was a full-blooded Tlingit. He was actually married to my aunt. About this lack of joy. One of my gods was hunting. I love hunting. I still do. Going out, not necessarily killing something, but we were out one fall, and we were telling him about how Carol and we got all this stuff, but we found we didn't have joy. But my uncle was kind of a quiet guy, but when he spoke volumes. And after I got done talking, and it was about time to go to bed, and we were caribou hunting, and you could hear the antler horns rattling in the hillside, and they make kind of unique noise. And he said, "Sound like you need God in your life." You know, and guess what I went to bed with? You know, and this was 1987, and this was in October. And then my uncle went home and back to Sitka, and marten trapping coming along, and I was going out, and it was about 35 below, and this guy from Creighton University, I forgot I had promised him I was a snow machine dealer then. I had promised a snow machine to him so that he can go travel to villages and take pictures for National Geographic. And so he come spending a week out in a trap line with me, and he was a Catholic priest. And we talked about what Carol and I talked about, and we talked about Catholic things and my memories of Holy Cross. And I told him about the television with the Billy Graham and hearing the gospel, and Carol's going back to church, and my battle with the Catholic thing. But we were out there for a week, but the day before we left, the evening before, right before we left anyway, he said, "By the way, Roger," something like this, "the only thing that really matters is your personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ." A Catholic priest. And the two things that I really dealt with for me was I needed God in my life, and personal relationship with Christ, a Catholic priest confirming what I heard when I heard the gospel. Well, nothing happened then, but my uncle died the following summer, and my Aunt Elsie asked me to sing Amazing Grace. And I wasn't burned then, and I wasn't a Christian either. But I wanted to sing this song with some meaning for my aunt and for my uncle. But I wanted to know what's so amazing about this grace. I mean, it's a beautiful song, and up until that time, it was just a funeral song, and we have so many. And I looked at the Bible. Carol had a Bible. I think I recalled Barry's, must have stayed awake in a few of Barry's teachings when I went to church with Carol. And the funeral was in Sitka, and I already knew that I was a sinner. And after prayer and after looking at Scripture and talking with a few people, I realized that grace was meant for me. A sinner. And I didn't know about any steps or anything like that, but I knew I needed help to be a Christian. I just asked the Lord, whatever it means to be a Christian, that's what I want to be. but I have to set myself aside. I need your help. I can't do it by myself. I need your help. Whatever it is to be a Christian. And I don't want to be somebody that will just say Christian for the moment and slide back. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite. And it was a difficult thing for me because I hated the terms, maybe hate is the wrong word, I disliked passionately the terms being saved. You know, are you saved? Are you born again? You know, those would really turn off to me. I accepted the Lord. And I honestly believe to the core of my heart that I was saved then. Yeah. I'd like to say that bells and whistles came on, but they didn't. But I made a conscious decision to pursue Christ. Yeah. And I tried to be a Christian, a silent one. Barry didn't know, Carol didn't know. You know, I wanted to be a self-made Christian. You know, kind of like a Lone Ranger Christian, really an Indian Tonto Christian. But little miracles began to happen as we went along. One of the first one was I used to curse every other word. 3 or 4 curses came out. I mean, it was just automatic. I didn't even know I was cursing. I just got to tell this one, I don't know why. But I was working in my shop about 5 in the morning like I usually do, and I was trying to get this flywheel off, and it wouldn't come off, and so I just hit it with the brass hammer just a little bit. Went like that, and the flywheel fell off, and it fell on my toe. And it hurt, and I cursed, you know. And I'm in the whole shop by myself, and it dawned on me what I did. And just like this is my prayer. Lord, you promised to help me be a Christian. You got to take this away from me. And it didn't dawn on me until a month later. I never cursed again. You know, it's been just wonderful. What a transformation for me. Anyway, I used to do a lot of, Carol was working with the public radio station there, and I do some volunteer work, volunteer flying for them because I had an airplane. And we're up in Hoosley and trying to raise money for the public radio station, and we were there and the fundraising was over, and I started bringing the radio station manager back to Galena, but I don't know why I got an attraction to bear dens. Maybe because it was Barry or something, I don't know. But I'd seen this bear den and looked like it was from the air, you know, it looked like there could be an animal in there, so I was slow flying over, and I flew too slow and for the conditions, and I went into the trees. And everything fine. We had shoulder harnesses on, didn't get bruised. However, my waterman did get hit on the forehead in the back, from the back seat of I had a Super Cub. Got hit in the forehead anyway, and fortunately he didn't get knocked out. But anyway, when went through between 2 big cottonwoods, and the wings folded up, kind of like this, and the fuel tank cover came off. I had a 30-gallon Hadley Dodge wing tank, and I was burning 100 low lead, and